You have one shot to get this audition right, and the monologue you pick will make or break it. Monologues for an audition can feel impossible to choose. But here is the truth nobody tells you at the start. Most actors lose auditions before they even open their mouths. They pick the wrong piece. They walk in with something too long, too familiar, or totally wrong for the room. And the casting director checks out in the first 10 seconds. I have been there. I have watched it happen. And I have done it myself. Here is what you need to know right away. Your monologue is not just a performance. It is a first impression, a handshake, and a business card all rolled into 1 minute. It tells the casting director who you are as an actor. It shows your range, your taste, and your instincts. So before you memorize a single word, you need to get the strategy right. In this video, I am going to walk you through exactly how to choose, prepare, and perform monologues for an audition the right way. Step by step. No fluff. Just what actually works. Stay with me. This could change everything about how you walk into a room. The biggest mistake actors make when picking monologues for an audition is choosing something they love instead of something that fits. Let me say that again. You might love a piece. You might have watched it 100 times on YouTube. You might even cry when you hear it. But that does not mean it is the right one for you right now. Casting directors have a very specific job. They are trying to picture you in their project. If you walk in with a monologue from a 60-year-old general and you are 22 years old, they cannot make that leap, no matter how good you are. Here is the rule. Pick something that fits your type, your age range, and your energy. Not who you want to be one day, who you are today, right now. Think about the last 5 roles you could realistically book. What do those characters have in common? That is your sweet spot. Find a monologue that lives in that zone. This does not mean you cannot stretch. It means you stretch in the right direction. Pick something that feels natural, but gives you room to show your depth. When it comes to monologues for an audition, length matters more than most actors realize. Here is the golden rule. 1 to 2 minutes. That is it. If someone asks for a 1-minute monologue, they mean 60 seconds, not 90. Not 2 minutes because you got excited. Casting directors are busy. They see dozens or even hundreds of actors in a single day. When you go over time, you are not showing confidence. You are showing that you cannot follow instructions. And that is a red flag. So here is what you do. Time yourself. Out loud. Standing up. Not in your head while you read it off the page. Actually, perform it and record it on your phone. Most monologues feel shorter in your head than they are in real life. You will be surprised. A piece that looks like a minute on paper might run 2.5 minutes when you actually say it with pauses and emotional beats. Trim it down. Cut anything that does not move the story forward. Keep only the best parts. The parts that show your strongest work. A tight, focused 60 seconds will always beat a rambling 2 minutes. Always. One of the smartest things you can do when preparing monologues for an audition is to avoid overdone pieces. Now, I know what you are thinking. The classics are classics for a reason. And yes, Shakespeare and Chekhov and Tennessee Williams are brilliant. But here is the problem. If you walk in with the to be or not to be soliloquy, or the speech from a streetcar named Desire, the casting director has seen that piece 500 times, maybe 1,000. They are not watching you anymore. They are comparing you to everyone else who brought in that same piece. You do not want to be compared. You want to be remembered. So look for hidden gems. Go to bookstores and find collections of contemporary monologues. Search for newer plays from the last 5 to 10 years. Look for writers who are working right now. When you bring in something fresh, something the casting director has not seen before, they lean forward. They pay attention. Because now they are actually watching you. Not a memory of someone else. Be bold. Do the work to find something different. Here is something many acting teachers skip over when they talk about monologues for an audition. You need to know who you are talking to. Every monologue has a scene partner, even if that person is not in the room, even if they are imaginary, even if they are dead. Your character is always talking to someone for a reason. They want something from that person, and that want is the engine of the whole piece. Before you memorize your lines, figure this out. Who is the other person? What do you need from them? What happens if you do not get it? Then, in the audition room, place that imaginary person just to the side of the casting director. Not on top of them, just beside them. This keeps your eye line open so the panel can see your face, but it also keeps you grounded in the reality of the scene. When you are truly talking to someone, even an imaginary someone, your performance comes alive in a way that no amount of memorization can fake. The casting director will feel it. This is the difference between performing a monologue and living inside one. Let us talk about structure, because the best monologues for an audition all have one thing in common. They go somewhere. A great monologue is not a speech, it is a journey. Something changes. The character starts in one place emotionally and ends up somewhere different. There is a shift, a turn, a moment where everything changes. That change is what casting directors are watching for. They want to see you handle more than one note. They want to see you surprise them. So when you look at a monologue, ask yourself this: where does my character start? Where do they end up? And what moment causes the change? If you can find that pivot point, that is where you put your focus. That is where you do your most careful and specific work. Because when you nail that turn, everything else falls into place. A monologue with a clear beginning, middle, and end will always feel more satisfying than one that is just loud or just emotional throughout. Give the casting director a story. Give them a ride. Memorization is the foundation of great monologues for an audition, and most actors rush it. Here is a common mistake. You learn the words. You can say them in your living room perfectly. But then you walk into the audition room and suddenly your brain goes blank. That happens because you memorize the lines, but not the thoughts behind the lines. Here is a better way. Learn your lines in chunks. Find the thought behind each sentence. What is your character actually thinking right there in that moment? Then connect thought to thought, not word to word. When you know the thoughts, the words come naturally. And even if you stumble slightly, you can find your way back, because you know where your character is going. Also, do not just run lines sitting at your kitchen table. Rehearse on your feet. Move around. Say the lines in different rooms, in different emotional states, at different volumes. The goal is for the words to feel like they belong to you, like you just thought of them for the first time, right now, in this room. That freshness is what every casting director is hoping to see. Your body is a huge part of delivering powerful monologues for an audition, and it is easy to forget that. When actors get nervous, their body shrinks. They get small. They cross their arms. They look at the floor. They shift their weight back and forth. And all of that tells the casting director that you do not feel safe in the room. Confidence is physical. Even if you do not feel it, you can show it. Before you begin, plant your feet, shoulder width apart. Feel the floor beneath you. Take one slow breath. Let your hands hang naturally at your sides. That simple position communicates so much. It says, I am here. I am ready. I belong in this room. During the monologue, let your gestures be purposeful. Let them come from the character, not from habit. Do not gesture just to gesture. Let your hands move when the character would move them. And keep your face